And right now we start the first presentation of our third session. So I go in sharing and bring the screen, and then we go from there. So our first speaker for this session is Dr. Sally Warren, and the title she's going to present for us is Hemp in Housing for Health. Beautiful subject. And she's affiliated with Build Green Now, American Association of Hemp Growers, U.S. Hemp Builders Association. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Warren to start our presentation. Dr. Warren, welcome.
Thank you.
Turn your video on, please.
Yeah.
There we go. I see.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. And good morning or good evening to everybody. I am Dr. Sally. I'm a naturopath, and Henry, who is with me, he's an electrical engineer, computer wizard, senior project manager, who is a subject matter expert in tax lot accounting and algorithms. Now, we had a dream to save the planet and help low resource communities. And we also needed to prove our point and have somewhere to live. So welcome to the story of New York Hemp House 1. How do you do that? Okay, here it is in all its glory. The house that we used for our project was derelict, hadn't been lived in for ages. It was filthy. It was just perfect for our project. So as you see, there's before and after pictures.
We're actually sitting in that corner right now.
Yeah, we are. We are. This is the very corner that we're sitting in, right on the screen. We started off with demolition. We replaced the bad with the good. Now, something that we're aware of is the immune system of our communities and the health of individuals is very important. And COVID-19 virus has proven many points, including the fact that we as people are out of balance with nature. Living in a hemp house or a home built of more natural materials does connect us to nature. Drywall is in regular use. That's the panels that the builders use, as well as plastics and concrete. Drywall production has a noticeable environmental impact. The processing of the gypsum in the drywall releases particles from the gypsum powder, in addition to sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, and carbon monoxide. Heating the gypsum is also a very high cost in energy. And then when they demolish these houses, taking the drywall to the dump causes off-gassing as it deteriorates. So there you see the demolition part, and then the delivery of the herd and the binder. The binder, by the way, is a lime, which is again a natural material. So what is it like to live in a hemp house? The photo that you see on the right is an example of one room after we had completed the hemp insulation in the walls. So we didn't use the hemp as a retaining material. We used it since we were retrofitting into the cavities. And the benefits of hemp is that it makes the air fresh. It's warmer inside when it's cold outside, and it's cooler when it's hot outside. We found that the sound was greatly reduced because of the amazing acoustic properties, and the air was comfortable. So what does construction with hemp offer? the hemp as a building material offers durable, sustainable, and carbon negative alternative to the huge footprint of most building materials. Both hemp and lime, that was the hemp hurd and the lime used for the binder. I also used it to plaster over some of the walls and to paint. You can use lime paint, and it's still breathable. Where when you use the other materials, it forms a plastic coating. This does not. So your air quality is greatly improved. It's a renewable biomaterial, and it absorbs moisture from the air when needed and releases it again when the humidity is low. So it's water vapor is passing in and out. That brings us to, does hemp cause damp? Surprisingly enough, for something that is permeable, it does not. Damp occurs in too many homes with the newer materials. When they sweat and moisture is trapped in these non-porous paints, the plastic sheeting, the incorrect damp programs that are put in, and it causes a lot of problems. And as you know, that the mold then affects health. The hempcrete, because it's breathable, which sounds odd that a house breathes, but it allows the air and the moisture to travel in and out. So you're much more connected with nature. Cooking moistures, showers, even the breath, the moisture in the breath, it's all absorbed and then released. It's also antifungal, antimicrobial, which I'll go into in a minute. So there are no possibilities of spore, fungi, or anything like that actually being able to form in these walls. So this is another interesting one. I put the link at the bottom of this screen so you could actually see it. It's terribly boring because nothing really happens, but it's a good indication of hemp being basically fireproof. Although there are some caveats that basically say it depends on what growth of hemp. It depends on, you know, a number of different things. But for this example, it was a blowtorch up against a block of hemp, and they left it there for about an hour and nothing. Yeah, I think it may have left a dirty mark, but that's pretty good. So yeah, it's pretty much fireproof. The other great thing about hemp is that pests don't like it. When we demolished the plaster walls in this old house, we found evidence of mice and rats and raccoons and wasps and powder post beetles, bees, mold, all kinds of different things. It was quite disgusting. But once we filled the cavities with rock wool, which is another form of solid insulation, because we were pouring in the winter. We wanted a slight head start to put something in there, and then we poured 6 inches of hempcrete. As soon as we got those into the wall, there's no space for the rats and mice to run around in. We also found bees' nests and wasps' nests in the cavities, and there's no space for those. The best I think I could say is that because of all the lime in there as well, it desiccates insects, and critters just don't want to burrow into it. So it's naturally, hemp when it's growing, it's naturally pest resistant anyway. It's naturally antifungal, and the great thing is it's non-toxic. No VOCs. When we're pouring it, it gets hard because we're tamping it, and we move the frames up. to pour another layer. And if you look at pictures of the walls, you'll see it's kind of a wavy line because of the pores, and it gets hard in a few weeks, and then solid in a couple of months, and it just keeps getting harder. So really good for keeping pests and what have you out. So what is it? What is it that makes hemp healthy? So there's no formaldehyde, no harmful chemicals. It maintains temperatures, it keeps the air clean, humidity low. It absorbs moisture, smells, and sound. Nothing can grow in it, so no worries about the mold or the fungi. It's naturally antibacterial, antivirus, and it does not cause chemical sensitivities. Hemp, when growing, it converts carbon dioxide to oxygen, making it negative carbon footprint, unlike other man-made materials, resulting in more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So that's basically what makes it healthy. We're still experiencing the health benefits of living here. And we certainly hope to be inviting people to open house so that they can experience it as well if anybody's in the area. We're up in Kingston, upstate New York. And how am I doing? Basically, for optimum health of the planet and people who live here, 2 plants can make a difference. One is hemp, and we're so privileged to be able to use this. You can custom build with hempcrete, you can retrofit an existing home with hempcrete, or you can just build a wall with hempcrete. So please do look into this amazing material, and follow us on Build Green Now on Facebook, and you'll see our website at the bottom of this screen. And thank you so much for inviting us. Yeah, so one of the things that we're trying to do as well is to teach other people how to build with this material. And we're focusing on low resource communities and trying to invite more people to learn about it. There's about 25,000 products estimated made from hemp, so it's a very versatile material. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Beautiful presentation. Really, this is a very good concept. I hope one day you guys can come to California and stuff. We help you to promote this beautiful concept. And this is the future.
This is the future. This amazing plant, you can have 2 or 3 harvests a year because it grows to full height in about 3 months.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And if I might add, for the sake of the video, and people are going to watch it later.
Can you stop the screen that you can see? Yeah, now. There we go. Go ahead.
Good idea. Thank you for saying that and reminding us.
Sure.
We're so passionate about this, and we see a tremendous opportunity. This is probably a main point of our message. We shared information, but consider that hemp, as the green economy grows, is going to create tremendous opportunities in addition to helping to save the planet. So part of our invite is for others out there, including people with technical backgrounds, to find new ways to use their skills. So for example, I'm trained as an electrical engineer. I do financial services, business analysis for large banks, et cetera. But I walked away from that to apply project management skills and science to improving supply chains. And so what you'll see in the presentation is that this industry, just like Silicon Valley, I experienced the whole Silicon Valley from the beginning. So this is a repeat, except a natural site. So we can now anticipate that each of us have an opportunity within our communities to think through what it means to have a certification facility and what it means to help the community use and create these 25,000 products and participate in it.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a really definitely makes sense, and it's a great concept. As I said, we want to learn more about it. So after this conference, you guys welcome to contact us. We could spread the word and everything for this. I think this is unique. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful presentation, and you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Hopefully see you next conferences. We will invite you again.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Have a good one.
And you. Thank you.
Accept my greeting, all the participants. Thank you so much for your time and effort and where you are. And we start our third session of this beautiful conference and this unique conference. And whoever participated, we really appreciate it, as I said at the beginning of this introduction. So now we're going to go to our next speakers, which is going to be, okay. It's going to be, yeah, Karen, okay. And give me 1 second. In the meantime, you can watch us on Facebook also, and Bio-Natural Healing College. We are live on that. So before I bring, there we go. So Dr. Karen Bochart, her title is Risen Self in the Tradition Biogenic Medicine in the Alps, Austria. So I wanted to put more shed light on that. So affiliation, University of Salzburg, Austria, Bioscience and Health. So Dr. Bochart, welcome to the conference. Thank you so much for participating. How are you today?
Fine, thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon from Europe. And thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participation. So what time is it over there in Austria?
It's 4 p.m. It's a good time for me.
Beautiful. So you're ahead of us. Thank you so much for nice having you. And actually, floor is yours. You want to do presentation? You want to start your presentation? Whatever you want to do, so it's all yours.
Okay, I want to start to share the screen.
Sure.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go
okay. Yes. The World Health Organization has been discussing the use of traditional medicine by around 80% in the population in African, Asian, and Latin American countries, in contrast to Europe. And they showed that there is no official traditional medicine in Austria because the law doesn't allow it. Our law doesn't allow alternative complementary medicine. Nevertheless, folk medicine in the Alps is present everywhere. And this was the reason for my research. These are the Alps in Austria. We have winter for a long time and we have snow till June. And my research is in the region around Salzburg, in the heart of Europe. And Salzburg is the place for music, and it's the birthplace from Mozart and the place of Sound of Music. And we have no kangaroos. It's not Australia, it's Austria, because we always called Australia. So I want to tell you something about our most important ointment. The first step of my research was to search the interview partners. I was searching for key individuals such as farmers, and I tried to find some people who could meet the criteria for interviews. I was searching for original healing knowledge, which developed from experience rather than acquired from books. I was looking for lay knowledge, and therefore I was looking for people from rural areas, people who treat their animals using traditional medicine, people who did not use modern medicines for the majority of their lives, and people who stand for their herbal knowledge. And in order to collate traditional healing knowledge in the region around Salzburg, I did 35 qualitative interviews, 33 of which were analyzable. In the interviews, I only asked very open questions. I tried not to influence the answer. The answers were documented only in writing because I would not irritate the old people with technology. The questions were, for example, how did you treat your illnesses? It was the question about the methods of healing. What did you use to treat your illnesses? The question about remedies. What did you treat? It was the question about indications. How long did you carry out the treatment? The question about duration of use. And who treated the sick individual? It was the question about the therapist in the families. And then I tried to translate the healing knowledge from the old people in medical wording. And I transcribed and clustered the answers. And then this was the most important point in my research, the intersection between traditional healing methods and positive drug monographs from the Commission E and ESCOP. And this intersection is the basis for our education program. And the results were very interesting because the most frequently mentioned remedy was conifer from resin. Was conifer resin, and it is traditional being used for healing wounds. 55 plants correspond to official pharmaceutical monographs in terms of their effects and uses. And I was surprised that the resin was the most frequently mentioned remedy. The ointment recipes were different. The proportion of resin was always almost the same, about 30% of the ointment. Resin from different trees, such as spruce, larch, and pine, were mixed in most cases to achieve a greater effect. The composition of the resin salve, 20 to 30% resin from spruce, larch, or pine were used. A higher proportion of resin would close the wound too quickly. In this way, they achieve the necessary 10% rosin in the finished ointment and the disinfection effect. 70 to 80% were fat, olive oil, or clarified butter. And they had old people used additional components, and this differed from region to region. Medical plants such as St. John's wort, yarrow, calendula, or honey were often used. The medical effects from this resin ointment are anti-inflammatory effects, astringent, antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial effects. we saw one problem with the ointment, because 2 to 4% of people in Germany have a contact allergy to rosin, which is important to note. About 60% of resin is rosin. So we recommend an allergy test on the inside of the arm. The harvest of spruce resin, for example, is very easy. We take the resin from injuries on the trees and store it under airtight conditions. We also take resin from spruce cones. When the summer is hot, the cones secrete resins. The cones make resins to protect the seeds. You can put the cones into the oil and get this kind of resin. The cooking of your own resin ointment is very easy. You take fat, olive oil or clarified butter, warm it, and so you can soluble the resin. In workshops, we now show how to do it. The resin has to be melted in the warm oil, and then we took the rest out. The rest is parts of the bark, gums, and other not fat soluble ingredients. And at the end, we add beeswax as a structural agent. And so it is ready. It's really a very easy handcraft. So we test. So we make the allergy test on the inside of the arm. We put the ointment, and sometimes you can see reactions. If the ointment shows no reactions, you can use it. Yes, this was the most important salve, the most important ointment in the Alps, and it's easy to use, and we want to give this this knowledge to many people in Austria back. We want to give back this knowledge to many people. Yes, thank you very much for making this presentation, and
Thank you very much for your time.
I will stop it. Okay.
An interesting concept, and we wish you the best. And I hope we can have you for our next conferences or seminars as well. You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, we are back to our next speakers. Thank you so much for joining. I have one request from all the speakers. When they join in, stop it before I call you, stop your video. Then I will ask you to come after introduction, number one, and also trying to stay in your time limits, because a lot of people are watching us through Facebook. We want to make sure everybody has their timing right, because some people want to listen to a specific topic or subject. Okay, our next speaker is, just a second. It's okay. Is it Dr. Rajan Gupta? Okay, just 1 second. Dr. Rajan Gupta is our next speaker. And just 1 second, I don't know, okay. All right, I see, okay. The title is Talk is Suffering and Its Solution, Affiliation CEO and Medical Director of Pain Instacare, New Jersey. Dr. Gupta, welcome. Welcome to the conference. Nice to have you here. Now you can turn your video on. Dr. Gupta. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Have you? All right. So you're in New Jersey time, right?
I'm in New Jersey, yes.
Very good. Welcome to the conference. Floor is yours, and you can start. And just 15 minutes.
Thank you very much. I wanted to start my screen.
Yeah. Oh, you started your PowerPoint. Okay, good.
Oh.
You're good. We see your screen.
Okay. All right, so my topic for today is the suffering and its solution. I wrote a book called The Briefcase Life and Carry What Matters the Most. Basically, I'm very much inspired by Gautam Buddha. And one of his quotes says, good thoughts lead to good outcome. And so suffering and its solution. So my name is Dr. Rajan Gupta. I'm the CEO and Medical Director of Pain Instacare, New Jersey. And I wrote a book on the same topic, The Briefcase Life, Carry What Matters the Most. And I'm going to begin with my quote here. Do not take life seriously. And seriously, never ever take your life. And I'm going to ask a simple question, and I know people would not respond to me here, but the question I commonly ask in my presentation is, how many of you have thought of ending your life? And the answers that I get in most of the conferences is almost everyone have thought of ending their life because of one reason or the other. Life is as simple as you make it. And my another quote, look for simplicity in this complex life, not the complexity in this simple life. And I believe the suffering is directly related to the complexity of life. So what is suffering? Buddha said that desire or the attachment to anything will cause suffering to you. When we look at the anatomy of life, I try to make comparison between the structural component and the spiritual component of life. Structural component, if we see in the physical world, is atom, right? That's the most indivisible particle. And in Hindu philosophy, we have Atma that we call. So atom and Atma, they are very comparable words and they have similar structure, if you look at it. Atom has three main particles. One is the neutron, proton, and electron. And same way, Atma has electron, which is similar to mind. Proton in atom is similar to heart, which is positively charged. Electron and the mind, they both are negatively charged. And the spirit, which is similar to neutron, is the neutrally charged or no charge on it. We live in 3 dimensions. And these 3 dimensions are driven by different part of the Atma. We live in a physical dimension, which is money or whatever money can buy. And the mind is the driving factor of that. Emotional dimension, which the driver of that is heart, and the spiritual dimension, and the driver for that is the spirit. When we gain things in life in the physical dimension, we only get satisfaction. We neither get happiness nor we get peace. We go higher in our life with emotional dimension. Then we get happiness, but still we don't get peace. And third is, the higher we go, we reaches the spirit and the driver of the spiritual dimension. And once we get satisfaction in that, we get peace. And that is the prime most thing that we can get. And those are the things that we also define the purpose of our life. Physical dimension, the mind gives you satisfaction. Emotional dimension, the heart gives you happiness. And spiritual dimension, spirit gives you peace. What are the problems of life leading to suffering? So I kind of divided that in 2. One is when you get something what you hate. And second, what you don't get, what you love. These are the common scenarios that we come across in our life that leads to suffering. What are the truths of life that I write in my book? There are 3 important truths of life. 1, nothing belongs to you. Literally, there's nothing belongs to you. Second, change is the only constant in life. Every time, everything is changing. And third, life can never be planned and it can only be adapted. And all of these leads to a big problem is unpredictability. And that is one of the causes of suffering, or the main cause of suffering. So we talked about the suffering in the sense in everyday life, we suffer from so many things. When we wake up in the morning, we are thinking about suffering. When we sleep at night, we think about suffering from life. I also say that suffering or the happiness is just the thought. It's a thought process. Nothing else. It's a cloud of thought. And I created 7 laws in my book, which are basically can act like filters. And when you filter those thoughts or the cloud of thoughts through these laws, you can see life clearly. My laws are nothing that nobody knows. They're all very, very common saying that you hear from this person or the other person. So the first law is that, as I said, we hear from everyone. All the grandparents and the parents, they will constantly will tell you that. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. And whatever happens, happens for a good reason. Remember, when we are going through something in our life, our perception is totally different than what would be 20 years from now or 5 years from now. When we look back, we always tell ourselves that whatever happened, happened for a good reason. So if we can believe into that saying later, why don't we live it from today? Why don't we believe that now? That don't worry, everything will be fine. Whatever happens, happens for a good reason. The fear is the one which creates the problem. So don't have fear. Second law is you are it. You are the most important person in your life, and you have right to be happy. A lot of people give importance to other things. You know, if when you go in the plane and if they always write, in case oxygen goes down, you have to put mask on yourself first and then put it on your kid. A lot of people don't pay attention to themselves. Parents keep doing things for their kids, but they have to do things for them first. Third law is, or the third filter is, anything is possible if you believe in it. Just like the law of attraction or the movie Secret, when you have thoughts which want to achieve something, the universe is so abundant that you will get it. Like in the Shah Rukh Khan movie, they say that जब तुम किसी को बहुत शिद्दत से चाहते हो, तुम्हारी सारी कायनातें तुम्हें उससे मिलाने की कोशिश करती. So this is the same thing. If anything is possible if you believe it. This is the central law of the book. Out of 7 laws, this is the central law. Everything is based on this. Your perception is your reality. What you will observe, what you will perceive, that becomes your reality. People are like lenses or the cameras. Whatever you would like to see or want to see, it's your perception and it becomes your reality. So if you want to change your life for good, change your perspective. I also say, if the sun is not shining on you, go and stand in front of sun. Change your perspective. My 5th law is, you have 0% control on what comes to you, but 100% control on how you react to it. And this is what we have to learn when anything bad happens to us, that we really are not in control. We can change the outcome by changing our reaction. And reaction is the only thing that is in control. 6th law is, change is inevitable. Don't fear it, learn from it. Everything, anything is changing constantly. Relationship, finances, everything will change. Don't fear it, learn from the change. And the last law is, attachment and detachments are timed and destined. तो जो भी जिंदगी में तुम्हारे आने वाला है वो आएगा, जो जाने वाला है वो जाएगा. Whatever will come to your life will come at its own time, and whatever has to go from your life will go on its own time. So how do you really get rid of suffering? You carry what matters the most. Carry your life attached to the things that you love the most. And you can leave at any drop of things, of the thought. Attach, but don't attach. In the end, I say life is like a movie. There are going to be bad scenes and good scenes. But in the end, what matters is just the entertainment and the experiences. And good thoughts lead to good outcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. I'm really, really impressed with this presentation. If people want to learn more, I'm sure your information is with us. So this is the whole point, to bring the whole community together from around the globe to reach to the purpose that we have. I wish you more success in your life. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
And in the meantime, if you want to watch your program and FaceTime live, so all the programs are on our FaceTime, you can visit the FaceTime page and you see the whole session from yesterday. We had 2 sessions and also today. Right now, without further ado, we have our next speakers. Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Bahauddin. Okay, yeah. Yes, Dr. Bahauddin Mujtaba. Dr. Bahauddin, welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Tashakkur zanda basheen, Afghanistan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, nice to have you. And before let me just do a little introduction, and then we can go from there. Dr. Baudin Mujtaba, the title that he's going to touch base is Managing Mental Health, Stress, Conflict, and Suicidal Tendencies. And it's amid challenging times, if I remember right about that. So his affiliation is Professor of International Management and HRM, Huizenga College of Business and Entrepreneurship, Nova Southeastern University in Lauderdale, Florida, USA. So Dr. Baudin, welcome. And please correct me from those pronunciations that I did. It was, the name of the city was what? And if I missed anything, please correct me.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, no, you did a great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, I am Bahaudin Mujtaba. I teach at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And so, yeah, that the city is correct, obviously. Nothing wrong with that. All right, since we don't have a whole lot of time, I'll go ahead and obviously continue, inshallah.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll put more emphasis on the topic of suicides and more important, suicidal tendencies. As Dr. Gupta just alluded to, unfortunately, almost everybody has thought about suicide at one time or another in his or her life. And that's a sad reality. And during the last year, it's become worse, obviously. So suicide is oftentimes basically inflicted behavior where a person is trying to kill him or herself. But unfortunately, sometimes people who are suicidal, they also try to hurt other people. So that's where we see, unfortunately, the mass suicides at times, which happens in the US as well as all over the globe. Globally speaking, we see about 800,000 people die of suicide every single year. So that's an enormous problem to have. So the only solution, obviously, is to have evidence-based decisions. In order to make evidence-based decisions to prevent suicide, we need to know, obviously, the reality of it, the causes of it. And as you can see in this quote, Professor Carey mentions that there's not only an increase in anxiety, but the more important piece is social isolation as a result of the pandemic that we've been suffering over the last 18 months or so. Carey mentions that we've never had anything like this, and we know social isolation is related to suicide from previous data. And unfortunately, if you look at this slide, we see that data shows younger people suffer at a higher rate compared to everybody else. So from 2018 to 2020, you can see that the percentage of young adults committing suicide has increased more dramatically to 25% versus 11% for all ages. So the younger people are hit the hardest. In other words, think about those young boys and girls at high school or colleges. Unfortunately, they don't have as many tools in their toolbox to deal with, or they don't have the support, social support or the perceived social support. So that becomes obviously a problem. As Dr. Gupta just mentioned, obviously perception is an issue. And sometimes if we don't critically ask the truth about those perceptions, we believe it is and life ends. So suicide is a global problem. You can see in Japan, Nepal, Thailand, all have seen rise during the past year as a result of the pandemic and social isolation. So suicide has been on the rise. More importantly, you can see in terms of gender, there's an effect. For Mexicans and Greeks, about 3 to 5 times more men commit suicide compared to women. In Asian countries, gender is much narrower. However, in China, more women than men commit suicide. So in UK, we also see that a lot more men, 75% compared to 25% women committing suicide. So unfortunately, as you can see, everybody is impacted by suicide in one form or another. In the US, we also see that minorities are impacted a lot more during the last year. So you can see on this slide that Black residents of one county, at least in Illinois, were dying by suicide in greater numbers in 2020 than any other previous 10 years. So that's another issue. For US in general, so you get an idea, you can see in 2013, we had 41,000 suicides. And unfortunately, some of these suicides are non-gun related, where people hang themselves or take medicines at extremely large doses. In other cases, it is by gun. So that is a common one. You can see almost 50, 60% per year suicides take place by gun overall. We also see that veterans, whether it's in the US or in foreign countries, they tend to commit suicide at a larger percentage compared to the general population. So in this data from 2016, it shows that veterans actually commit at 1.5 times higher rate compared to the general population with regards to suicide. Now, overall, the past 5 to 6 years, you can see suicides have been on the rise, and 2021 is unfortunately on the same track where it is rising. So you can see in 2020, we had 48,000 suicides in the United States. It has been increasing steadily, and it's unfortunately going in the wrong direction. So when you look at all the way at 10-year or decade data, the trend is going in the wrong direction. Thereby, obviously, we need to study this a little bit more. Now, there's a lot of people who commit suicide, but also there's some people say there's 20 times greater percentage of people who actually think about suicide. So they might get some help or they may get some social support, but unfortunately, the thoughts of suicide are very high. As previous presentation by Dr. Gupta alluded to, almost all of us have thought of this at one time or another. In 2020, again, 48,000. So there are other elements of this in terms of how people commit suicide. So there's some really good data. In the paper, I discussed this. Those of you who are willing to read more details, just email me. I'll be happy to send you the PowerPoint. Because of time, obviously, we cannot go into details of this. Now, the study that I just want to focus a little bit with you is basically in Florida. That is one county. So in Florida, we've had obviously high rates compared to US, but you can see the US general population is on the rise, where Florida has been somewhat steady. So we looked at about 3,000 suicides in one county for 13 years. And the reason for that is because Dr. Wardak was the medical examiner. So we had more of an interest in it because we are both teaching at Nova Southeastern University, and we wanted to analyze the data for the county where we live. We noticed the highest percentage of suicides were by gunshot, and then second was asphyxiation, and then hanging and other drug toxicity related suicides. So evidence from our studies and previous studies do show that there's a strong association between the presence of firearms in the house and the increased risk of suicide for the gun owner in his or her spouse and children. So we can easily remove access to gun in our own homes to prevent suicides by ourselves or our family members in one form or another. There's also a racial effect. So you can see on this slide here that majority of the people in Broward County in Fort Lauderdale was white individuals who did suicide. And then obviously the second highest was Black, and then Hispanic, and then Asian. So we can dig a lot deeper. And our hypothesis was supported that whites are more likely to commit suicide compared to others. That was obviously, in this case, supported. And then the next hypothesis was that older individuals are more likely to commit suicide than younger people, and that was also supported. And unfortunately, again, as we get older, once we make a commitment, obviously we tend to carry that through. So we need to provide more social support for older individuals, despite the fact that younger people commit at a higher rate suicides. So our study in Broward County shows that most of the suicide victims are men, since men make up about 75% of the total suicides. Gunshot is the #1 cause of suicide. And then older people have a significantly higher rate of suicide than younger people. And white Americans make up the largest percentage of the total number of suicides, at least in Broward County. And I like this question that Malala had asked, why is it that giving guns is so easy, but giving books is so hard? Why is it that making tanks is so easy, but building schools is so difficult? So this is a question for county policymakers, government policymakers, and leaders, as well as obviously you and I in the private sector, that we need to ask these questions. There are some suggestions that I do provide in the paper. So there are many, many great suggestions. But instead of reading all of these, obviously the goal here is to provide social support. We need to help, especially the younger people, develop a sense of purpose and meaning in their life. And also we need to try to develop a positive self-concept, especially for young people. And as we get older, obviously we have a better understanding of who we are. More importantly, we need to practice stress management, mindfulness. We need to help younger people with assertiveness skills. So when they do have a conflict, when they do have a challenge, they can speak up. And we need to help them obviously deal with conflict more effectively as opposed to being vengeful. So overall, suicide is obviously a reality. But we also need to think about suicide management being a necessity for all of us. And obviously all of us can develop that skill to help ourselves prevent suicide, but also our family members and our colleagues. So I'm going to end it here just in case there are some questions or discussion, although time is running out, but I'll be happy to answer any questions just because the paper is much more developed. However, because of 15 minutes, obviously, I just want to give you the highlights. So you do read the paper. You can download the bigger PDF or you can read the paper within the conference publication.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mushtaba. It's beautiful, very, very profound, and also this is a serious subject matter you touched based upon. So we would like to just ask you one question. You mentioned about support system and everything, but there's any authentic hotline support that people can use, and we can refer them to that. So
actually, on the website online, if you just put in suicide prevention, not only we have a federal suicide hotline, but also local communities also can provide support. And in the university environment, we obviously have student volunteers that sometimes help. The universities sometimes have their own suicide hotlines simply because during the last year and a half, it's been much more difficult. Since we used to work at a corporate world as a human resource manager, we used to provide obviously a lot of employee assistance help through our HR department. So for big organizations, they do provide an employee assistance program in this area, and they might have the expertise within the company to where they can talk you through the difficulty as an employee when you're facing this. And unfortunately, we see just the last 2 years, we saw somebody who was getting a negative performance evaluation. So not only he brought a gun to the performance evaluation, but he killed 5 of his colleagues and obviously killed himself. So that trend was in the 90s and the year 2000s, and unfortunately it's still continuing. So we need to do more, obviously, and the hotlines is one way to provide immediate access, especially late at night when people are basically isolated and tempting to commit suicide, that those hotlines do help.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Mushtaba, for your busy schedule. We'd love to have you on next sessions and stuff. And also, I will invite you personally to one of the TV shows that I am hosting. Probably can talk more about it because a lot of people, a lot of families want to know about this matter. And this is really serious subject. Thank you so much. Have a nice day for joining. Okay, have a nice one.
Thank you.
Welcome back. And the good news is that all the speakers are already in a standby position in panelist room, so we all good on that. Thank you so much for Dr. Mushtaba. Was a very, very serious subject matter, like I said, and we have to and thank you for Bionatural College of Healing College that brought all these information. So this is a bridge, actually. The whole purpose of these conferences like this and more to come is to bring all the group of people together to exchange their opinions, exchange their ideas for betterness of the community and bring good for community. And this is the future. So I really, really appreciate it. And so far, every speaker I have seen nobody missed their presentation. And this is amazing because we have almost about 30 guests, 30 speakers, but all of them punctual on time. I really, really appreciate it in behalf of BioNatural Healing College. So our next speaker is, we go to Dr. Pratibha Gupta, and okay. In the meantime, we are live on Facebook. As I said, if some of your friends don't have the link, you can just mention they're going to go to BioNatural Health, BioNatural Healing College, and you see the live program over there. And yesterday's program, both sessions are also have been recorded, so they can watch that. So now I'm going to go to a short introduction, then we're going to go to the actual. So Dr. Pratibha Gupta, PhD, the title that she's touching base is Diabetes, the More You Know. Affiliation, Research Associate Professor of Extension, Specialist Food Nutrition and Health Nutritional Biochemistry and Nutrigenomics. Research ARDP, College of Engineering, Science, Technology and Agriculture, Central State University of Ohio, USA. Dr. Gupta, welcome. And you can join us now and be ready for your presentation, Dr. Gupta. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dr. Gupta, right. Because I had Dr. Rajan Gupta ahead. So, Dr.
Yes,
Gupta.
I think my video should be on. I think I'm not able to turn my video on.
Okay, yeah, just turn your video on, should be good. Yeah, there we go. We see you.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good morning to you. Actually,
Good morning.
it's still morning, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
So the question I have for you, do you have your PowerPoint presentation or you want me to play it for you? So it's up to
I think you can play it.
you. Can, okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna go play that. So give me 1 second. And because I had it, we didn't talk yesterday, but I prepared it for you because you asked that. Just bear with us. I'm almost there. There we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pratibha Gupta, and I'm the Extension Specialist for Family and Consumer Science and Research Associate Professor for Food, Nutrition, and Health from Central State University. And our supervisors are Dr. Shri from Central State University and Dr. Siddhas Gupta. Next. So what are we talking about that, the more you know about diabetes, basically, we have a little confusion about diabetes. So what does it mean to have a diabetes? And am I at the risk of getting diabetes, or where do I stand with diabetes? Well, basically, we see that diabetes is considered as a chronic disease, as you all know that. And also, why we call this as a chronic disease, because there are certain conditions that we have to understand, is that pancreas, which does not make enough insulin, or the body cannot use the insulin that body makes. So in that case, what happens that our body is full of glucose concentrations in the blood. Also, it affects our organs very severely. And if you see what are the different forms of diabetes, there are different forms of diabetes. There are called as type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and there's a gestational diabetes. And there's another one called latent autoimmune diabetes of aging. And there's a condition called prediabetes. There's also a condition which we call as the impaired glucose tolerance and also impaired fasting glucose. Now, why does it happen? So you all consider this type 1 diabetes is basically autoimmune conditions, which is more like a genetically, and we make this maintain by, we have a solution for management, of course, and the type 2 diabetes is caused by the lifestyle mismanagement, and we are also able to do that. Now, what we do about it, for example, what are the consequences of untreated diabetes? So, and how long before it's too late? So sometimes we do not listen to our physicians, of course, and for going for routine checkups and having the pre-treatment system that can really give you little indications, such as, for example, frequent urinations, for example, hungry all the time, or blurry vision, or if you have a lot of fatigue, tiredness, or if your wound is not healing properly, if you're really thirsty all the time, that means that you have some symptom that you have to think about. Now, also, there are some acute complications of diabetes. I think these phenomena, you can go online and search for yourself. These are some of the phenomena that can happen if you have acute complications of diabetes. For example, called Dawn's phenomena and Somagi phenomena, and hypoglycemia, diabetic ketoacidosis, and hyperglycemia, smaller syndrome. That is also a very, very tedious situations that can happen if you have a complications of diabetes. Now, again, you know, if you see, and if you click on this presentation here on the retinopathy, you know, these are some of the chronic, complications of diabetes. For example, if you click on retinopathy, you see that, you know, you can have eye conditions where you have a situation in the eye, you should share something in your neurology and in neuropathy, or cerebral vascular accidents can happen. You have conditions called cardiovascular disease can be affected. And you also have peripheral vascular disease can be affected. So overall, if you see, there are severe chronic complications of diabetes if it is unattended or unattended by the physician and is not being managed properly by you. Now, if you can see here, you know, if you can see, considers those factors, I think you can go online and see your conditions that way as well, okay? And as you can see, all these conditions, you may be familiar with that. And these conditions are very, very tedious in the sense that sometimes when your diabetes is uncontrolled and also you're not managing properly, it will lead to you in a certain conditions, and it will lead into you some deformity as well, because a lot of people do understand that managing diabetes is essential and is very, very important. Now, it used to be called as in, what do I do now when you have diabetes? What do you do that? Now, it used to be called as, I am diabetic and I don't know what exactly needs to be done, right? The new treatment is that, you know, I think next slide will show you exactly what we talked about it initially. Now, what we have now, options to choose from. Now, it used to be called as, for example, well, I have a diabetes and I'm getting bad and I don't have any options. And now today we have a lot of options to choose from. Now you can improve slowly, but surely. Of course, you do take medications, but the lifestyle management is very, very essential. So you can improve the quality of your life. Now, why we do need to take care of ourselves for lifestyle management? Reason why you can avoid your pains, because you will be entitled to pain if you have diabetic conditions. You need to restore yourself, and also a lot of people are suffering, including children, when we have these kind of conditions. So lifestyle management is very essential and very, very important. Now, why is there a diabetic epidemic? Now, if you see this, you know, why do we get into those situations? Because diabetes type 2 we're talking about, because these conditions are under our control, because we do go see all the foods that is available in our stores, or we see commercials, we get into those situations and we do not maintain our healthier lifestyle. Now, if you see, there's about 220 million worldwide have diabetes, and about 80% of deaths from diabetes in low and middle income countries can happen. Now, it is a shocking to listen or to hear that diabetes deaths between 2005 and 2030 will be doubling, and it will have a serious financial impact on us as well because of the condition and situations that we have to deal with diabetes. Now, who wins with the prevention and management? such as, for example, if your lifestyle management is there, definitely you will benefit out of that, because although if you have discovered that you have diabetes, but there's an option to manage very well, and lifestyle management can be very, very integral in your lifestyle. Now, what is your prevention and management? Of course, choices and planning that lead to feeling happy and in control, eating right, and more movement, such as, for example, doing a proper management of your lifestyle, including your physical exercise and activity, leads into a good lifestyle management. Now, common reasons to avoid changes, what exactly it is. For example, people do have a lot of questions. Eating healthy is too expensive. I have no time to exercise, or, how do I do things like that? So, and I feel too tired to try. But there's always an option to choose from, such as, for example, the reality is healthcare costs are really higher without the proper nutrition. You think about that. If you get too sick, then cost of your healthcare will be more expensive than eating healthy food. And also, I have no time to exercise or make healthy meals. So of course, quick healthy meals, they do have options. And there are a lot of YouTube videos. In fact, you can go to USDA websites where you have my plate options are really great. Now, importance of testing blood sugars. You can always test your blood sugar on a daily pattern as suggested by physicians, right? So you can develop a pattern, you can record the numbers, so you have little options to select the food that makes your glucose sugar higher level. So that way you can control and manage, and you will have a good lifestyle management plan, and you can talk to your physicians or your consultant or your nutrition or dietitians. Now, again, also lifestyle management also has that. How do you understand understanding certain things are very essential. For example, nutritional labels, serving size, carbohydrate, fat, protein content in combinations, sodium intake, vitamins, and calorie goals. These are all those essential things that you have to really consider in your diet plan. Well, for example, this is a very, very interesting topic that I'm going to be talking about. When you select a food from the grocery stores, make sure that you see the label on the food products, such as, for example, in this case here, you see calories 170, but you did not remember that this container has about serving size varies. Serving size 4 times, right? So 4 times multiplied 170, it's almost going to be close to 700 calories. So if you're using that container, that means you're not using 170 calories. Actually, you're using around the 700 calories. So you have to read label very carefully. Also, the portion size. Size portion is very, very important. For example, if you see the graphics right here, is that what is your portion control? And if you can go Google it also, for example, if you really like to have a food, but of course you have a portion control is very essential, because lifestyle management also includes portion controls, not just the food in a bulk. Also, again, recognizing deceptive foods. Now you also say that 100% orange juice, as you can see that, right? So 100% orange juice, if you can see this here, and you have to read your label very, very carefully. And again, if you see the caloric intake in here is that about 110 calories. And how many serving size in this container? 7 times. So 7 times multiplied by 110. And you can see about 800 calories is just in the juice. And you say, well, I didn't eat any food, I just had a juice, right? Orange juice, which is 100% orange juice. So try to be more careful about when you select the food. Also, some products are very, very also deceiving or deceptive foods. For example, you say crunchy, in oatmeal or oatmeal and honey. So again, select the food and read the labels very carefully. If you can see here in this category, is 190 calories and total fat 7 grams, saturated fat, trans fats. All of these things, sodium 180 milligrams, and carbohydrate is 29 grams. So you have to understand, now you're saying it's a healthy, food bars. So you have to make a final selection and choices. And is it really true that are you eating a healthy food or a food that is very deceptive? Again, identifying the harmful eating behaviors. For example, all day grazing, binging, and excessive large meals, small calorie-laden snacks, and calorie-laden drinks. Now, in all of these cases, you have to be very mindful what kind of food you will be eating. Now, such as, for example, eating food doesn't mean that you are going to be restricted. You have to make your good final choices based on your lifestyle. For example, if you're a very active person, your lifestyle is a little different than a person who is very, very, like a sedentary. So make sure that if you're an athletic person, and depending on your lifestyle, if you're sitting in your office many, many hours, so definitely you have to have your lifestyle management differently. It is not a generic. In fact, also I would tell you that, in diabetic conditions, we all have diabetic conditions, but at the same time, people are from different origins. People are different, have a genetic pattern as well. Their food habits are different. So make sure you select the food based on your lifestyle. So just for example, like nutrition. Now, vitamins. So I'm just going to give you a very, very simple example. Let's say, for example, if you have incorporated vitamin A, which you can see in this graphic is like a sweet potato, carrots, right? Which will improve your eye conditions as well. Vitamin B, for example, is for creating for nervous system. If you see a lot of greens, they are also good, not only good into the nutrition, but also it is also maintaining your nervous system as well. Vitamin C, which is very good into the vitamin C, which is also tissue regenerations and the wound healing and bruise healing, and also repairing your soft damages. Now, benefits of healthy choices, again, one more thing to add into your diet is called carbohydrates, which is a complex carbohydrates. So it digests, first of all, slowly. It has a low blood sugar. Also, it makes you feel full. And also these carbohydrates such as brown rice and oatmeal, these are very good because it also has help into good bacteria and digestive tract as well. So your digestive tract needs to be clean, as well as, in addition to your carbohydrate, which is a complex carbohydrate. Now, again, daily diabetes dining, this is my personal type. I wrote this title called Daily Diabetes Dining Decisions. So this is my personal title. And of course, I can say that this is all created by me. And also, whatever you do, just do it daily on a daily and simple daily diet. Simple daily things are very, very great. For example, healthy meal, healthy snack, recreational activity. Choose one this week, do it every day and another day. Every single day, do everything together. For example, choose one day your healthy lifestyle, healthy food, snacks, your exercise, fitness, meditation, yoga, all of these things. If you can make it just your lifestyle, that becomes more your compact lifestyle pattern. Now, again, eating, how can I control portion when money is tight? Well, of course, eating healthy does not have to break the bank. Here's our choices. Buy whole grains in bulk. Make sure you go to local farmers market where you have seasonal fruits and vegetables. You can find cheaper deals also, and you can go online and see and where the food is available, and you can make it grow in your own backyards. There are certain vegetables can be grown in your backyard where you can save your money, as well as you can feel fresh because you are actually getting something fresh produced right from your backyard. Again, watch your portion size, as I mentioned before, and also share your meal. When you go to the restaurants, sometimes when we go to restaurants, we eat meals, right? And sometimes what happens when you order meals and in the restaurants, make sure, and you can select the food which is the, diabetic friendly. There are a lot of restaurants are offering diabetic friendly food also, and make sure you have diets. And if you have a simple plate, make sure you have a salad in your diet on a regular basis, and eat exactly mostly like a soups and stuff like that. That is more healthier options to choose from. Also, you don't have to necessarily finish all your meal when you're at the restaurant. You can always portion it and bring it back home, and you can save it for next day. And also in the control place, make sure you have little more extra water in your diet as well. And because when you feel full, just stop eating that time, and make sure your drinking is very, very essential. And I'm not talking about drinking your soda or juices, things like that. I think drinking water on a regular basis, and more than 16 ounces, I know people usually do, but if you can increase your intake of water, will increase your content in the food content in the body, and will make you full. And do not feel guilty over not eating everything yet you ordered, but that's okay. It's all right. Now, again, you also can choose different meals. And also, if I were you, I would definitely choose the meal based on what your lifestyle is. And again, eating things and making selections based on sometimes we might think in the restaurants, you need to see the labels as well, and ask the person, how it was cooked and things like that, and what are the calories in that food. And eating vegetables, adding vegetables in your diet would definitely make your lifestyle more better. And also, and just one more thing to add into it. First of all, making your lifestyle as a combined lifestyle. That means that include food habits, exercise, fitness, meditation, yoga, all of the, and having mindfulness and daily activities are more essential than doing one in a bulk. Every single day, that's called daily dining decisions, will make your life better and healthier, and also creating lifestyle pattern. Thank you everyone for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. It's really, really beneficial information, very simple and very important subject matter. Have a great day. Thanks for joining with us, and hopefully we'll have you again on such as other shows and seminars coming up. Have a nice.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Okay, it was beautiful to have Dr. Gupta talking about diabetes. It's a very, very major subject. In a second, I will ask the next speakers, which is Chen Choksky, I'm sorry. Mr. Choksky, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just give me a second. I go do a short introduction and come back to you. Just a second, okay? So, okay. So I didn't have your picture, but the good thing is I have you here. So that's even better because I have you here. So there's no picture needed. Okay, good. All right. Okay, we have Dr. Chen Choksky, medical doctor, title Future of Medicine, healing through practicing precise and personalized epigenetic medicine, and that combines ancient and Eastern with modern and Western healing modalities. Affiliation, CEO, and medical advisor for RXP. Oh, actually, it's blocked. Okay, and corporation, and also CEO of Genosup Corporation USA. Thank you so much, Dr. Choksky, for joining. And now, floor is all yours. Now you see a beautiful picture. You look
Thank
great.
you. So let me take this opportunity to share my screen, if that's okay.
Exactly.
And I hope you guys are able to see.
Yeah, we see it. You're good. So you can move on.
Okay, my screen is for some reason frozen. Are you? Maybe I should redo it. Let's retry this.
Yeah, I see your presentation here.
I know, but for some reason it keeps coming out as frozen. Anyways, let's just, hopefully it will come back, and in the meantime I can keep going.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present. The title of the talk today is definitely talk about the future of medicine, and maybe present certain different viewpoints on healing through different practices, precision practices, and using epigenetics and integrative anti-aging modalities along with Eastern and Western modalities of care together. So let me give a little bit of background of what I have. I'm a family doctor by training, board certified, and I'm part of the A4M fellowship at American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine. I have done a lot of stem cells and aesthetic certifications and peptides, and I'm serving as a chief medical scientist at the RX Predict and a formulator at Genosup as well. But let's talk about what is, hey, let me take a step back and take you guys on a journey of what we are dealing with, right? So we have a body, and all of us are looking at our body, and we see our body as one city. Resources are coming in, and those resources are limited. Now, these resources have to be divided either by the military on one side or by civilians. So our military, which is white blood cell count, divided into 5 branches: WB neutrophils, basophils, lymphocytes, eosinophils, monocytes, and then there are tons of other guys out there with B cells, T cells, adaptive, innate, the interferon systems, and all of those things. But all of their job is to protect us from something that is foreign. And foreign things are such as glyphosates or pesticides, herbicides, environmental chemicals, mold, or viruses, parasites, bacteria, things that are foreign that do not serve us and we don't have a symbiotic relationship with them, then those things are considered foreign. They might have a marker on their cells, and our immune system has some way of identifying by looking at the lipid bilayers or whatever it is, that they identify it. And our immune system, the military, destroys these things so that we have these resources that are limited, that do not get wasted. And our civilians, which are our normal cells, get them for healing. Now, all of us have gone through certain different types of trainings. And for the last thousands of years, there have been many, many different modalities of care of how we look at the human body. So as we have learned over the last 100 years, and even many last thousands of years, but human body is made up of obviously mind, body, and the spirit. But it is connected through not only from allopathic perspective, where we look at the cells, and now we're looking at genetics, but we're looking at energy as well. And how do we live with the environment in the most natural way, so that the human body, the machine that we are given, can be used in the most efficient way. So cellular efficiency, mitochondrial efficiency, DNA efficiency can be improved. Now, there can be many, many different forms, such as many different modalities. So I had listed all of these modalities on my PowerPoint. For some reason, I'll retry this. Hopefully this time it works so that you guys can see it. For some reason, my screen is still coming out to be blocked, and it is not letting me show. So that's okay. So I will just continue my presentation. So there are many different modalities, right? Modalities of care from most modern perspective. We're looking at anti-aging modalities, stem cells, IV therapy, supplements, precision supplementation, which incorporates herbs as well. In order to evaluate our body, we have lots of functional testing, we have genomic testing, we have nutrigenomics, we have pharmacogenomics, we have obviously gene-specific therapies that we can use, we have immunologics, we have so many different modern things that we're obviously talking about from a allopathic perspective, but from the ancient and natural perspective and the Eastern perspective, we have Ayurveda, which more and more research is coming out on all the herbs and the different preparations of these herbs, whether they're in essential oil forms or whether they are in powder form or liquid form, or they are prepared or taught different methods at home, because all of these herbs have different properties, whether they can be heated, cooled, and a lot of these things cannot be mass manufactured. You have to learn how to do them at home. So there is that whole science of Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, that teaches us those kind of things. And it also teaches us how to evaluate our body from a meridian perspective, a nadi perspective. So we're looking at our body and understanding that there are a lot of different chakras, a lot of different energy points, a lot of different meridian points. And all of these things are connected, not at a physical level, but also at an energy and emotional level. So now when we blend these worlds together, overlap them on top of each other, we have a allopathic perspective, which tells us a lot of if this is this and this is the treatment kind of scenario. We look at the cells, and now we're looking at the genetics and proteomics, and also we're looking at epigenetics. And we'll go into what epigenetics, because that's the main topic that we're talking about today. But all of these things we're looking at, and if we superimpose them on top of each other with our understanding of the past, other modalities of care in terms of whether it's Reiki, whether it's understanding meridians, we have machines that can, that are developed by some great scientists, and there are many of them, but we have machines that can look at our auras, we can figure out our meridian systems, we can look at our nadis. So when we mix all of these things together, the entire world of energy and the frequency, understanding the plants, come together on top of each other, and that's where the best blend is. And when we and that exists today, that's totally exists today. We also look at numerology, astrology, vastu, feng shui, handwriting analysis. We can look at hypnotherapy, biofeedback, reflexology. A lot of these things, Reiki, a lot of these things come to play all in the same person, because we're looking at as a doctor, I'm looking at a person, and my job is to evaluate how does this person feel something, what is the journey that they have taken that has allowed some sort of manifestation. So as I look at our genes, I realize that our DNA is like a Tesla coil. It responds to the outside environment, and that's where the epigenetic comes in. Epigenetic incorporates all of these modalities that go into our body, because everything that we are perceiving is perceived by our 10 senses. Well, we know about 5 senses, and the 6th sense is our mind. 7th and 8th sense are sense of time and space. 9th sense is sense of understanding energy and karma. And the 10th sense is understanding our own spiritual self, whatever we call it, chi, whether we call it soul, our spirit. So there are 10 senses that we have, and these 10 senses are constantly talking with the environment. So an easiest way to give an example is we all have a gene for sweat gland, but not every time it turns on. Only when the environment turns on, the sweat gland the DNA turns on and responds by sensing the environment, the heat in the environment, and turns on in the DNA. It gets red, mRNA is produced, and then the protein is produced, and then the protein goes out and produces sweat to cool us down. So human body is constantly in a rhythm to match with the outside environment, and that is what we call epigenetics. Now, today, we have an understanding of how we can personalize and make it precise epigenetic recommendation that are based on functional testing of the labs, energy testing through frequencies and meridian channels, and then treatment with either all of these things, such as herbs, genetics, supplements, obviously allopathic treatments, IVs, stem cells, and then energy through mantras and meditation and blessing. And we can incorporate different yoga and yogic sciences and traditional sciences into this. So this is where we are in the world. I think because of where we are going, these things already exist. When they merge on top of each other, and as the science proves a lot of these things over and over again, the energy of the planet and energy of our body and how it can be matched at the same time, that will be the future of medicine. And that is something that I have tried to do in my practice. Just to tell you guys a few things about my practice. I have run out of time, but it is something that what we're aiming to achieve. It is what we have achieved over the last 3 years. And to be honest, we have seen miracles in the practice, from reversing autoimmune conditions to diabetes to pretty much even taking care of many of the neurological conditions, from stroke to Parkinson's to autism. And when we have truly merged all of these things together, as many as I have been able to do, we have seen that patients respond most beautifully. They respond in the most natural way. The adaptation is not met with denial or frustration or anger. which is what we have seen in our traditional practice, that a lot of us are not compliant, or we've seen people who are not compliant. But when the flow, when the takeoff to of the plane and flying and landing, those things are super smooth, and the journey for the patient becomes very easy, then it is very easy to see that people, and naturally they tend to love the mixture of the integrative holistic with functional and traditional and Eastern and medicine. So with that, I don't have much time. I wanted to present many other things, but as a simplest thing I can say in last closing, a recommendation, or somebody who can get something out of this talk, is one of the things, the first and foremost things in order to reverse diabetes that I have seen in all of my patients who have been able to reverse diabetes. There are many things, obviously, but first and foremost things is that they pause their eating after 4 p.m. in the evening. Eat as much as you want in the morning, breakfast, lunch being the biggest meals, and then the 4 o'clock meal being no more than 20% of your total calories. So if you're listening to this, if you want to take the first step at reversing diabetes and obesity, that's something that you can take away from this mini talk. And I appreciate and your presence, and thank you for listening. Namaste. Take care.
Thank you so much, Dr. for a beautiful presentation, very profound, very informative, Dr. Choksi. Hopefully we can have you in the future programs as well. So
no problem.
Have a nice day. Thanks
Take
for
care.
joining me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. So dear participants and viewers and attendees, thank you so much for being patient, watching this ton of knowledge and information. I'm overwhelmed, and we are so lucky that we have this kind of possibilities that we can bring everybody under one umbrella to talk about different matters of life. And these are all vitals, all the subjects are important. So we are very, very honored to have all of you with us. So we are kind of like about 5 minutes behind the schedule, but still we can move on. I don't think there's a break is necessary unless maybe I could just show one. 5 minutes will not going to be much. If I would say about 3 minutes of your time, I will play another. The intro that we have, it shows what is left, will be nice for a change. Then we're going to bring Dr. We can bring Dr. Aicha and Blama, and she's next, and we're going to go from there. So.
السلام عليكم.
Okay, our next speaker is Dr. Aisha Lama. And before we start the thing, I want to just do a short introduction and then we can go from there. Actually, I just received the news that Aisha Lama just received his doctorate, so we can call her doctor. Congratulations to you, Dr. Aisha Lama, PhD. So your candidate actually received that. So the title of your talk is Healthy Diet of Sahrawan Algeria Population. Is the Sahara, I think, the Sahara. So you can correct me on that. So is Algeria population. Affiliation is Division of Agri-Food Technologies, National Institute of Agronomic Research for Algeria, INRAA. Thank you so much, Dr. Lama Aisha. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
Yeah, great to see you. I don't know what time is over there in Algeria right now.
It's 40
Okay.
and 45 minutes.
Very good. Very nice to have you. Thanks for waiting. So the floor is yours. So move on with your presentation. And I congratulate you for the title that you received. So you're a doctor, officially a doctor now. So we are very happy for that.
Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
your.
So you
Thank
move on
you.
with the presentation. Stage is all yours.
Thank you.
We are waiting for you. So is anything wrong with the, Dr. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. I can hear.
We're ready for you. So you're waiting for your presentation? Is that what it is?
Yes, in the info, robust. I
I
sent
don't
you.
know. So
You don't write the.
yeah, so I don't see any presentation from you with us. If you don't have, I don't have any presentation from you. So if you can talk
I
with the
can't have.
presentation, you can do that without your PowerPoint. Yeah.
You see my PowerPoint?
No, I mean, I haven't received anything. If you have it, we could do that. So, but in the list, I don't
I
see.
sent to organizator.
So you can move on with your presentation. or if that's difficult, we can bring you back. I go to the next speaker, then I situate you, then we come back. What about that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because
That's okay.
obviously you cannot do it without that. So, okay. Thank you so much. And I definitely bring you back. So after, yeah, that way. Can you send your presentation once again to the email or WhatsApp, whatever? So sorry about that miscommunication. Probably Dr. Aisha thought that we have the presentation, but I don't have it. So right now,
I sent to you, Habib.
huh?
I sent to you. I sent my presentation to in your email.
So yeah, I mean, if you have it now, you can play it fine. If you don't, then we can situate that and bring you back. Probably
Yeah.
make it the last speaker. So because obviously without that, it's hard to do that, right?
Okay.
Okay, sorry for that. So we will definitely come back.
welcome.
Okay, I'll come back with you. Okay, thank you so much. So we're gonna go to next speaker that we have is Dr. Shagun Sharma. So I will do a short introduction and then we go. Yeah, Shagun. Okay, very well. Good morning, Dr. Sharma. How are you? Can you hear us? Your microphone is off. Can you turn it on, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. Give me 1 second. You can stop your, I want to just do a short introduction, come back to you. Can you stop your screen right now, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I come back as soon as I do the introduction, then we can pick up from there. So turn your presentation off for a second, please.
So my presentation is already off.
Okay, you can move on if you like. So that's fine. You could, yeah, your introduction is there. So basically, go ahead.
Sir, actually, this is not my presentation. This is Dr. Aicha's presentation.
Sure. Move on, please. Just speak a little bit louder, please. Go ahead, you can start the presentation. Oh, this is Dr. Aicha?
Yes, I share it.
Okay. Dr. Sharma, we come back to you. So kind of, okay. That's fine. Move on. Yeah, you can move on. Then we can always come back with Dr. Sharma. Go ahead.
I start?
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for Monsieur Dr. Siddiqui.
No problem.
My presentation, title of my presentation is Healthy Dates of Sahara Algerian Population.
Sure.
With Dr. Nadir and Professor Firdaus Mirzai. My objective of my presentation here, we aimed to in our presentation to sociologist study to highlight the most important highlights healthy date dish based on date and milk and cereal truths as described and analytical study of for some desert areas in those oases, Tuat, Gurara, Tidikelt, and Tamanrasat. The files visited to test oases showed the most important healthy date and recipes used by the population in their life for fresh and dry dates and the milk and the cheese, cereal, wheat, and barley and pearl millet. To prepare the soups and bread and couscous. Introduction, sustainable health definition, sustainable health definition that are these that promote all diminutions of individual health and well-being with minimal environmental process and impact. They are accessible. There are accessible, affordable, safe, and equitable, and are culturally acceptable. According to Yahi, the Mediterranean region provides an important quantity of plants essential for food and human health. Good food consisting for fruits and vegetables, which is really protective against many diseases. In Algeria, reports of the strategy document and the action plan of plans for biodiversity, as well as the first and the 5 national reports, global biodiversity, natural cultivated, has about 60,000 species and taxa combined, including the 33,139 space. This is different species of, I don't take time to split so I passed directly in the date, because the date is most important in Algeria with this for fruits, because it's, the date rich in the nutrients necessary for humans, and it has been called and mined for its richness in mineral, in addition to its other benefits that make it a complete food despite its cheap prices and its permanent availability in the market in the summer and winter. Cereal principal crops in Algeria, for example, the average annual per capita consumption in North Africa, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, and Tunisia, quite 174 kilograms. This is a map of Algeria and the value of production agricole. Evaluation of the production of cereal in Algeria. Figure of evaluation of the production with the failure in animal. My study area in Algeria is a mixed ethnic and multi-races. There are Arab and Tamazight speaking differently for natural and the cultural region in the heart of Sahara, composed the largest province wilaya in Algeria. The way the cities of Tuareg is pass through it the Trans-Sahara Highway. This way is located in the southern of the capital for 2,000 kilometers. Tidikelt and Tamarastewet and Gourara in Adrar province wilaya located in the southern of the capital 1,000 kilometers, 1,300 kilometers. The climate is desert continental type. It is very arid, hot, and dry. Tidikelt and Adrar characterized by its traditional irrigation system for Fogara, like a system of irrigation in Afghanistan and Iraq, Kanat, and yes. It's a decision of UNESCO examinations of national nomination for inscription of their list of intelligent and intangible cultural heritage in need for urgency subject. Community Tech of Algeria has nominated knowledge and skill of the water museum, of the Fogara. This is files of my study in Dumat, in the hearts of Algeria, maps. The climate of Sahara Desert is characterized by Occidental rain in late summer, very hot summer, very little rain through that mild winter. Material and method, our approach is bounded by descriptive approach in sociology, over participation observation, and interview with the population, especially with women. Result and the discussion. The field visit to this was showed that the indigenous knowledge of healthy data are generated over the years. Indigenous people are the one who were the original inhabitants of any place and live a life of their woman, which is of self-sufficiency type with no foreign involvement. Indigenous knowledge systems are not only for the culture from which they evolve, but also for scientists and planners striving to improve conditions in rural society. Also, the ways showed the most important healthy dishes and recipes used by the population in their life, composed from vegetables and fruits, and especially from cereals, fresh and dead milk and cheese, cereal, barley, and perlek prepared with couscous. Fruit and vegetable are good source of fiber, vitamin, and potassium, and beneficial phytochemicals as part of a healthy diet. Fruits and vegetables can help lower risk factor for non-communicable diseases, such as overweight, obesity, chronic inflammation, high blood, and other diseases. Under the palm tree grow some fruit tree for different variety, and the wild thyme, the other vegetable like wild thyme, tomatoes, caroto, cabbage, scour, and other cucumber, pepper, onion, watermelon, wild plant, and medicinal plant. Good number of these traditional crops have the provision of high nutrition value and health benefit, being rich in protein, micronutrients, and vitamin. And many traditional vegetable is very important in the health. The production is one of the principal ways system of ways agriculture that can consist ways food system. Food system consists of all the elements: environment, people, input, process, infrastructure, institutions, etc., and the activity that real to the products processing, distribution, and the marketing, preparation, and consumption of food, and the outcome of this activity, namely nutrition and health, state, socio-economic growth, equality, and environmental sustainability. That palm is probably original from lands around the Iraq and the Arabian Peninsula. Then it may have spared from there the interworld. That reference in the Holy Quran in Surah Maryam and check towards the Surah Maryam. هدي إليك بجزع النخلة تساقط لك رطبا جنيا. The desert dwellers were distinguished by the strides, longevity, and immunity to disease, and it's creating that the main food they ate was the greatest thanks to that, as their food was limited to milk and dates. This is a variety of date of Sahara. is fresh date. Al-Ratab was very well known and useful for to people and the visitor of the Oasis, Algeria Oasis. Dry that are crushed between two stones of different sizes. The ground produce is refined with the wound mortar in more or less granular powders. Various dried and ground parts live through seed or stem or of a medicinal plant are added to the seed are often torrefied before use. Dry and grounded cheese is sometimes substituted for these preparations. The rest of the very fine flour of date is called anghad, is added to milk to infants or added to the tomato sauce to replace sugar. This is composed of different plant was added to the dry that, like variety of spice of cumin of Sahara. His name is Amodocus, Lutricus, and Feniculum vulgaris, Zubiculum allium. A different plant used in the particularity problem, nutritionist or cure manual basis of the gastrointestinal system or nutritional or anti-inflammatory. All this each plant is added to has his particularity. This is different plant was added into dry that. I don't. I have not time to explain all. This is plant. This is fenugreek and commonly and Artemisia campestris, Artemisia alba, Rosmarios officinals, Penistium, Gallicum, Hordeum vulgare, and Rosmarius officinal, Rashid of Pinus. This described studies aimed at elaborating one of the most essential plates in the Saharan region from one side and to highlight the value of the sfouf itself. Dried is a dish is his name or called sfouf. It is itself from another, consequently linking research with indigenous knowledge which can lead to improve and modernize the food industry. Cereal, for cereal we made the couscous, this traditional dish in the Maghreb, according to UNESCO. Knowledge know how to practice related to the production and consumption of couscous have just been inscribed in UNESCO list. Couscous is much more than a dish. It is memories, traditions, know-how, gesture that are passed on from generation to generation. In field study, we recording a principal health date of couscous. Couscous made with dry huia, couscous made with barley, especially Hordeum, spice of. I am not a botanist, but so variety of barley whose excellent flour is used in the couscous and bread. Red sauce is ingredient to meat, lentil, tomato, onion, garlic, green and red pepper, carrot, salt, coriander, sativa, and spice. Other sauce ingredient, bottle ground, is added to couscous. Note that the bottle ground is mentioned in the Holy Quran. It's fruit medicinal property that plant reference in the Holy Quran, and we caused a plant of ground to grow over him. This is photo of bread prepared in the. His name is كسرة التراب أو خبز الملة أو خبز تقلة in Arabic خبز التملة أو تملة. Photo praised by my daughter in the Sahara of Tamanrasset. Tamala, the bread is cooked in the meal which held as lattice. A wide stone erected like a floor it is baked on it. It's different to prepare this the bread. This is another dish. His name is harira or hasa, or is common soup in the Sahara. Is made with the freak flour. The recipe is preferred healthily in the Sahara, inhabit especially in the difficult Sahara environment. Freak immature wheat grain that are tender enough to be eaten raw when freshly picked. The freak available commercially in the United States is imported from North Africa and is dyed and smoked to preserve the grain in the trans. It's mostly cooked. This is a freak in women who prepare freak in the Sahara with barley family or it's other spice of cereal to prepare couscous and harira or bread. Pearl it's other added to food for energy. Pearl milk produced with the semen or clarified butter, very nutritive. It's added to dry date in all ways traditional food, recording with its high nutrition quality for human diet and for animal feed. Pearl milk is a resilient crop useful for global level in the face of climate change. Diversity in plants creates resilience and the benefit for breeding programs. Conclusion. In conclusion, our study shows that the healthy diet of Saharan can be an example of healthy eating in the world due to the simplicity of its preparation and its high necessity. This high heritage date must be recognized through scientific proof. And thank you very much for your attention. Excuse me for my bad English.
So much. Thank you so much.
In Algeria, we speak in French or Arabic.
So it was a great presentation, and we'll have you in the future programs as well. Have a nice day. May God be with you. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. If you're going to stop the screen sharing, we can go to our last speaker, which was Shagun Sharma, Dr. Shagun Sharma. Okay, so yeah, if you can just get it off.
How can I?
Yeah, get out of. Yeah, just stop sharing. You know, so what you have to do, just push the stop sharing on the top. When you push the stop sharing, will get you out of this.
So I exit. After that, I return.
Huh? Okay, we'll stop. No, so you have to just, there's a, when you go on the top of the screen, it says sharing, stop sharing. So push that, it should be okay.
Yes, I go out. After that, I return. This is a solution. I come back, inshallah.
Well, we have to have the There we go. Thank you so much. Okay, we're good. So, Dr. Sharma, so just after a short introduction, thank you so much for coming back. Thanks for the delay. Okay, give me 1 second. I go to this and come back to you. Okay, we have Mr. Shagun Sharma is a candidate for doctorate as well. The title is Botanical and Phytopharmacological Exploration of Genus Berberis, L, from Himachal Pradesh. Affiliation is Department of Botany, Eternal University of Barusai. That's in India. Thank you so much. Yeah, nice to have you. And
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
yeah, we could see you. Your voice is good. So you ready? To
Sir, actually, sir, due to some technical problem, my laptop is not working. So
Okay.
can I present my presentation tomorrow onwards?
So you want to do your presentation later?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
You could do it this evening if you want, because we have 5 more speakers. We can add you in one of those.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to do that, let me know. If you have any questions or something, call us. We can situate your program, your PowerPoint, whatever. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, can I present my presentation tomorrow onwards?
Tomorrow, today is the last day. Actually,
Morning.
tomorrow in your time, right? But
Yes,
we
sir.
have 7 p.m., which is
Yes, sir.
India. It's at 7 or 6:30 in the morning, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We do it tomorrow. Yeah, sure. And your time tomorrow. Yeah. And
Yes,
since
sir. Yes, sir.
station or Avid Radio, we can add you on. We have 5 more speakers. We can go from there. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye. So, as you noticed that there was some difficulty for the presentation. Now we're going to go to our last speaker, and I'm going to go to a short introduction. Okay, so this Mrs. Nilima Mishra, and the title is Nutraceutical and Functional Foods. Very, very impressive topic. Affiliation, State Extension Specialist for Dietetics and Human Nutrition, Kentucky State University, USA. Ms. Mishra, thank you so much. Nice having you. Good morning to you, or good afternoon. What time is that? So, okay, good.
So yeah, everyone is
all right.
ready to.
Sorry for a little delay because we had a little bit communication problem with back then. So anyways, nice to have you. Floor is yours. You can move on. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you everyone for patience and waiting here to see my presentation. Thank you so much for that. So I think I'm not seeing the slideshow view, so I will just move with the view. I hope you are able to see my presentation. So my topic today is nutraceuticals and functional food. And my little background, I know we don't have enough time, but I am a medical doctor from India in Ayurvedic medicine, but now I'm working at Kentucky State since my master's in clinical nutrition here in USA. And that's why I'm not using my suffix doctor, because the alternative medicine doctor degree is not recognized in the United States. So I wanted to talk about this new vocabulary in nutrition. I want to talk about nutraceuticals, which is a new terminology in the field of nutrition. I don't know, my screen froze. I think it was the same for Dr. Choksi, but let me see if I can share my screen again, because somehow I'm not able to click on my PowerPoint presentation and take the slides ahead. Let me check. No, my screen froze, so I will stop sharing my screen, and I have my presentation printed in my hand, because I could just see that this happened to Dr. Choksi while he was presenting. So I have my presentation, but definitely it will be a mirror view. So I will just spit it out and explain things to you as I move forward. Sorry for that. So today I want to highlight the concept of Let food be your medicine. Our ancestors used to practice this concept of using various foods to cure certain health conditions. So what is nutraceutical? The definition says that nutraceuticals are products which provide nutrition and are also useful like medicine. A nutraceutical product may be defined as a substance which has physiological benefits or provides protection against chronic diseases. Nutraceuticals may be used to improve health, delay the aging process, prevent chronic diseases, increase life expectancy, or support the structure or function of our body. What is nutraceutical? The word nutraceutical is derived from two words, nutrition and pharmaceutical. It is a commercial term used for foods or food products that might help to prevent and treat diseases. In other words, nutraceuticals are the foods which provide extra health benefits in addition to the nutritional values originally found in the food. So basically, nutraceutical means our everyday food, but the food, this is a marketing terminology used to highlight the health benefits of our everyday regular diet or everyday food. So nutraceutical, I will give you some examples what nutraceutical foods can be. It can be a part of intact food source, like, for example, lycopene is a phytochemical naturally found in tomatoes, or it can be part of processed food. For example, lycopene from tomatoes in the recipe of salsa. It can be fortified or enriched substance in a food. For example, lycopene added to a fruit juice or tomato juice, or it can also be provided in the supplemental form. The term nutraceutical is applied to products that are isolated from herbal products or herbal products, dietary supplements, specific diets, and foods such as cereals, soups, beverages, and other than nutrition are also used as medicine. There is a simple classification. Unfortunately, that was a wonderful slide. I'm unable to show it to you, but nutraceuticals, I will just tell you the first and major broad classification. Nutraceuticals are majorly divided into two categories. One is dietary supplements and other category is functional food. So we are majorly talking about what is functional food. We will afterwards talk about what is dietary supplement. Functional foods are kind of nutraceuticals. Often a food is termed as functional because it contains high amount of phytochemicals. These natural active plant chemicals have been found to boost health. Phytochemicals are plentiful in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, soy foods, and many herbs and spices like parsley, chives, garlic, and ginger. A familiar example of functional food is oatmeal, because this is a major, oatmeal is major breakfast in United States nowadays. So the familiar example is oatmeal because it contains soluble fiber that can help lower cholesterol levels. Some foods are modified to have health benefits. An example is orange juice that has been fortified with calcium or for the bone health. Why there is growing demand of nutraceuticals? Why I'm talking about nutraceuticals even. Consumers prefer nutrients from food rather than pills. Nowadays, nutraceuticals have received considerable interest due to their potential nutrition, safety, and therapeutic effects. A market research recently proposed that the worldwide nutraceutical market is expanding and might reach $250 billion US. This is 2018 data. But the concept of nutraceuticals is not new. There was a Greek physician, Hippocrates. You might have heard, those people who are nutrition people might have heard this name for sure, but others might have heard his name as well. Hippocrates was a Greek physician in 460 to 370 BC. And he did this for the first time. His quote is, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." So we are using magic potions, or we call it which we offer to God, food which we offer to God. So magic potions were many times combinations of herbs by trial and error. I'm just trying to tell you some examples wherein you will understand that the term nutraceutical is new. but the concept of using food as your medicine is very ancient. In 4000 BC or before Christ, Sumerians developed medicinal uses for opium, thyme, and mustard. Babylonians had plant formulations including coriander, cinnamon, garlic, etc. Ancient Egyptian medical textbook, Abel Papyrus, in 1550 BC has lots of herbal medicines. Pansao, which is Chinese pharmacopoeia, which was written in 1578, describes many herbal supplements or herbal supplements for treatment of fever, cough, lung diseases. We should know nutraceuticals, in contrast to pharmaceuticals, are substances which usually do not have patent protection. Both pharmaceutical and nutraceutical compounds might be used to cure or prevent diseases, but only pharmaceutical compounds have governmental sanction here in the United States. In the United States, nutraceuticals do not exist as regulatory category. They are considered as dietary supplements and food additives by FDA under the authority of Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Now, there is an act which came into picture in 1994, which is called DSHA, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. According to this act, dietary supplements are products intended to supplement the diet that bears contains one or more of the following dietary ingredients: either a vitamin, a mineral, or an herb or other botanical, an amino acid, a dietary substance for use by man to supplement the diet, or a concentrate, a metabolite, constituent, extract, or combinations of these ingredients. It may be taken in the form of pills, capsules, tablets, or in the liquid form. It is not represented to be used as conventional food or as the sole item of a meal or diet. Many a times our youngsters do this. They eat protein bars as their major food, or they replace their meals with protein bars. So protein bar, again, is a dietary supplement. It should be used to supplement your dietary needs or nutrient needs along with your regular meal. Under DSHA, the manufacturer of dietary supplement is responsible for ensuring that dietary supplement is safe before it is marketed. So in conclusion, nutraceuticals and functional foods have proven health benefits, and their consumption within their acceptable recommended dietary intake will keep diseases at bay and allow humans to maintain an overall good health. Herbal nutraceutical is a powerful instrument in maintaining health and to act against nutritionally induced acute or chronic diseases, thereby promoting optimal health and longevity and quality of life. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot those questions to me at nilima.mishra@kysu.edu, my university's email ID. I want to thank the conference organizers for inviting me, and thank you so much, Dr. Pabi.
It's our pleasure. Nice having you. And you have a great day. It was a great presentation. Hopefully we can have you in the future as well. All right. Have a nice day. Thank you. Well, dear viewers and participants and attendees, this brought us to the end of our third session, second day, and we really enjoyed it. Thank you from all of you for watching and also being with this and being patient. So for all the beautiful presentation, profound and very, very, very beneficial presentation. There are a ton of knowledge and information that we all learned and gained. So the rest of the program, actually, this was the last presentation. We have about 6 more speakers talking this evening. So I will just go over with you who's gonna talk. And then at the end, we have Dr. Nader Siddiqui with his closing remark and thanking and appreciation. That's the last part. So we can. So it's gonna be, Ms. Mishra spoke. We're gonna have, Ms. Thakur, and also we have Singla, Ms. Singla, Rohita Singla, and also Sureshti Chauhan as another speaker that we have. And also we have Deepaka Thakur post. And then Rebecca, we already have that, and that should be, the last one is going to be, and also we will give a chance to Dr. Sharma, because Dr. Sharma, Shagun Sharma, because the presentation was not there. So she's a PhD candidate, so she's gonna have a chance to do her presentation as well. And this will bring us to the end of this session. Thank you so much again for watching in the meantime. And people haven't got a chance to watch all these sessions. As I said before, you can find us in Bio-Natural Healing College Facebook page. All the recordings are there. And somebody asked me how we're gonna receive this recording. Yes, we record it for ourselves as well. Once we edit it, and then we're gonna just post it on our website. So thank you so much for your attention and watching. I hope this have been very beneficial and full of knowledge for everybody. Have a nice day. See you guys at 7 p.m. Today at 7 p.m. in California time. Have a great, great day. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.